This is Let's Talk Business with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business, a show that talks entrepreneurship with some of the best businesses in the San Antonio area. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk with Carlos Moore, owner of Per4mance Printing. Carlos, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Marc.
You bet, man. I know you got some cool stuff that you're working on. I'm super excited to talk about it.
Of course.
And you're just an all-around cool guy anyway, man. If I can support Carlos, I'm always talking about what you're doing with folks.
Great support. I really appreciate it.
You bet. We're also going to talk with Hiram Skaggs, the Chief Sales Officer for Fun and Moving. Hiram, welcome to the show.
Excited to be here.
You came well-dressed for the show, by the way.
Thank you, yeah.
I didn't get dressed up for nothing.
I got
What a
dressed
reception,
up,
too, right? You literally
I got
feel like
dressed
it's
up
worth
the
it.
first time I came.
Yeah.
And then I saw Marc with his polo shirt, so now I'm trying to emulate him.
Dressing down a little bit. All right, in studio with us today is Howie Nestel. So he's kind of the newest co-host for the show. Super excited to have Howie as part of what we're doing here because he's just a lot of fun. He's very knowledgeable as well. He's the owner of Howie Nestel Motivation and, of course, Sharkmatic Advertising. Howie's a popular public speaker and has spent 4 decades creating an extraordinary life by serving through nonprofit leadership and being an outstanding parent, by the way. I've been just blessed seeing how he parents, just, kind of like in that sphere. And it's humbling to watch how good he is at that. So, Howie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. But it depends on who you ask about the parenting. Some
Right.
people say I'm
You
not
don't
a
ask
very good parent, taking minors to Vegas and, et cetera.
That's the cool parent there.
All right, I'll take that.
I love that. All right, a quick reminder for our listeners, you can catch video and podcast versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. And if you are in the local area and would like to be a guest on the show, just visit our website at satalkradio.com or call our office at 210-960-8210. That's 210-960-8210, and we can get you booked on the show. All right, so I mentioned nonprofit and how I know you do a lot of work with respect to nonprofit organizations. So, but business owners, we're all busy. We're thinking, well, I don't have time to do this kind of stuff, right? And I don't know necessarily that would be a good use of my time. So what is some good reasons why business owners should be involved in nonprofit activities in their community?
Well, business owners may not have time, but they can't afford to not do nonprofit work. And I'll tell you why. Most of the billionaire philanthropists that I met through nonprofit organizations. Most of the really good clients that my ad agency has gotten, I got connected to them through nonprofit endeavors. So it's not why you get into nonprofit, but the end result or the byproduct of giving back to community, whether you call it God, karma, whatever it is, rewards you with more than you could have ever imagined. And so when you get very busy, 2 things happen. Number one is you get focused on your business and you might become financially successful, but we all also need to deposit into our spiritual or emotional bank account. And that's why you do nonprofit. How I talk to entrepreneurs about getting involved with nonprofits, though, is a little bit different because, you and I, Marc, can go and sort cans at the food bank and it'll be somewhat valuable. But if you get somebody from the food bank to come on your podcast and then you help promote their video on social media like you would do for a paying client and you donate that to a nonprofit, now you might have helped them 100x in value compared to you going and sorting cans for a couple of hours with me.
Yes.
So we take what we are experts at and we leverage that to help those nonprofits get the word out and then help raise more money. I do that through marketing.
And Carlos, I know you're getting involved in some of that stuff too, or you offer some help for nonprofits. What's a way that your company is doing that?
We're doing donation requests, and I'm glad Howie is here so I could ask him a little later on during the show what's the best way to reach out to some of your 501c3s and what's the best way to reach out to your nonprofits.
Yeah, and you came out to CRIT, Children's Rehabilitation Institute, Telethon USA, and you were very kind to offer to do a wall with artwork, and we should revisit that because I passed that along. But again, I'm happy to facilitate that because then, what happens is we get to promote your company. Then other people get to see it. There's going to be a national broadcast on Univision television this December. And what if we had one of your walls up and then you got promoted on national television for that? So, yeah, there's always things to look at when it comes to philanthropy and giving.
Yeah, I think we become better humans, when we're participating in our community, not just leveraging the community for our own profit. Hiram, what kind of things are you doing for
so
nonprofit?
several things, and I'm glad you asked. Awesome Foundation, or awesome.org, the San Antonio chapter of that, I'm a trustee with. And we have a pitch party every month. This is something that's true for entrepreneurs, for other smaller organizations that have, a little bit less of a reach and are more in this specific area. But for San Antonio specifically, they give $1,000 every month to someone that's contributing to something awesome in San Antonio. So that's one way, obviously. Really exciting to see.
That's
how that
awesome.
Works. That's awesome, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I'm on the board of the Alamo Inventors Group as well. So kind of connecting people here in this space that are in the inventor area, that have an idea, that are trying to bring something to market, something they've been tinkering on for years, whatever that might be, and actually get it out in the public in front of people, get it protected for their intellectual property, get things trademarked, get in front of connections that can help them market that or bring it, out to the wider world. But that's another thing that I like to do.
Well, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Fun, and
really
it's fulfilling.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you can make money, and if you don't give back to society, what happens is you feel selfish. It feels like an empty victory to some degree, because we all want to know that we've made an impact and that our lives have some sort of meaning.
Absolutely.
Right? And there are probably other ways of getting that warm, fuzzy feeling, but the easiest and quickest, and I would say most valuable way to get that is to serve others.
Absolutely.
Right?
Just help people.
100%.
Yeah, and so with that, and you touched on it earlier, is the networking opportunities that are really it's very organic that happens because you guys are there for a common cause. I know you talked about this before too, but when you guys, it's like you're focused on whatever the thing is, and then, so you bond around that thing.
Yeah.
And then it allows for, hey, well, what are you doing? And is this what I'm working on or whatever? And it just leads to
It's one extra
business.
humanizing factor, right? That they go, oh, wow, you're a person who cares about something and you're going to do the right thing when I trust you maybe in another endeavor.
Yeah, we get to see somebody in a different light rather than just a business person. Which is cool.
And I will say, though, Mother Nature knows if you're doing it authentically or not.
No
because
question.
you don't get rewarded
Can't
when
fake
you're
it.
like, oh, I'm gonna go help at the battered women and children's shelter so that I can meet philanthropists and business people and then pass out a bunch of insurance cards, and next thing you know, nobody calls.
Take
Yeah.
selfies and,
Yeah,
and stuff
that'll
like
be
that.
so
Selfish.
obvious, right?
Yeah.
And we've all been around those kind of people too. When that happens, we're like a little
It's like
creeped out by the whole
radioactive,
thing.
right? Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's get to our first segment here. So first up on the show is Carlos Moore, owner of Per4mance Printing. Carlos, so you've got these. Tell me about your A-frame, your digital boards that you are marketing now. How's that going for you?
It's going great. It's going great. It's still kind of new to the market, and it's digital signage. So I think we've all been to stores where you see your static signage, see your posters, hanging posters, frames, so forth. But the digital element allows you to incorporate multiple media formats and remote programming and accessibility.
So, like, you can engage with these, right? You brought this up. Like, I can, like a wedding, right? Or like a wedding rehearsal, dinner, or whatever, right? I can just picture this A-frame sitting out there, and people can go, they can see the bride and groom, and then you can actually interact, maybe see a slideshow or something like that, too.
Exactly.
So it's touch screen as well.
It's touch. Think of it like a huge phone.
Yeah, or a huge iPad,
Yeah,
right?
a huge phone. So just like you said, if it was a wedding or engagement party and you have a slideshow of pictures, people can swipe through instead of them flipping through a photo book, messing up the pictures. They can just simply swipe through the machine and kind of look at different photos and things like that.
So what kind of businesses are getting involved with this type of stuff? Who's using it?
A majority are retail and brick and mortar establishments. They love them. They love them.
And Carlos, are people buying them? The businesses buy them, or they rent them from you?
Right now, they're renting them to test them out. But we do offer purchase, lease options, and event rentals. So
I like event rentals. To me, that's the sweet spot right there.
yeah, people love them for events. You don't need to buy them. We come out, we give you a tutorial. You can rent it for 4 hours or 9 hours, and just from there, just play with the machine and see how many customers and passerbys engage with it.
Now, I've seen where there are monitors like this mounted on walls. Do you also have a portable mount where they can wheel them around and move them?
All right, we have a huge selection. So we have A-frames, we have towers that come on wheels, wall mounts, shelf mounts. We have about 9 to 10 different, depending on your business and what you're really looking for. We have 9 to 10 different machines.
And we know everything's bigger in Texas. So how big do these things get?
We got the smallest is about 32 inches. The biggest can be spliced to 16 feet wide.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Well, how many units is that you're splicing together?
Just 3 for 16, but it's unlimited. If you want to go bigger, go
So let me
bigger.
tell you, I chaired Cattle Barons Gala, not Cattle Barons Gala, the gala for Ferrari Kid last year. Cattle Barons I did in 2012. My mind, you see, I'm already like 10 years ago. Last year, Ferrari Kid's a nonprofit that serves kids battling cancer. And I chaired their gala, and they had these screens on the stage, and they were all pieced together, and they had individual logos, and then they all came together, and they made the gigantic logo of the and I was like, that is freaking awesome.
That's amazing. That's definitely something that I can do. That's definitely
Okay.
something. So if you are a nonprofit organization, on our website, there's a tab that says Community and Environment, and you can fill out a donation request form. And I like to approve all of them as long as they don't overlap each other.
Got you. What's your website address?
LED210.com.
Oh,
It'll take
nice.
you directly to the digital panels.
So what kind of events are people using these things for?
Everything.
All right, but let's narrow that down a little bit.
It really is everything. So
What have you done so far?
so far, I've done an engagement party. I've done an anniversary. I've done a live jazz show. And I'm looking to be at the Bridal Expo and the San Antonio Home and Garden Show in the next month and a half.
Sweet, man. So you going to have a booth there, or are you just...
No, people just rented them out for event rentals. So about 3 or 4 different
and then you
panels.
get in and do a little guerrilla marketing. You're already there. Hey, you see that thing over there? Here's my garden. Start passing them around.
Yeah, I'm thinking you pick the whoever's the center booth is, figure out who that is, go talk to them, say, hey, I want to set these up here, and then you
Yeah,
do
and
exactly
for
what
next time,
Howie's
too.
saying
Yeah.
right there.
Once people see them, they tend to sell themselves.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
be everywhere all the time.
There we go.
Loving it. So what made you decide to, I mean, you already got a successful printing company. What made you decide to go into this space?
1, environment, and 2, things are becoming more digital. So being on the printing side of things, the past 7 years, the static signage have been declining for about 7 years. And when we look at sustainable products and the effect it has on the environment, 26% of all landfill waste is paper and printing waste.
Oh, wow.
That's a big deal. We look at major department stores. They spend about they purchase about 200,000 signs per season.
Wow.
Labor Day is coming up. After Labor Day, what do you think they're doing with those signs?
Throwing them away.
Throwing them away. Now you got Halloween. Throwing them away.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Throwing them away. It's just accumulating over time.
Right.
Yes, it's a lucrative industry, but when we come to the environmental impact, it's definitely a detriment to our environment.
Well, and I love that it's not just the digital, but it's also the interactive component of it.
Exactly.
That to me is next level right there. Because, I mean, people can now engage and see more, and they feel like they're participating in the process.
Of course. So most trade shows, they'll say, when you go home, go to our website and sign up to our newsletter. Well, we don't have this product, but here's the website. Go home and purchase it on your own time.
We hope.
No need for
Right.
that. These things have Wi-Fi capability.
Yeah. The other thing is, I was talking about being in Vegas last week. The Sphere is a venue that's constructed out of digital LED signage.
Oh, is there
So-
something inside that?
Yeah, it's a venue.
Oh, I didn't know
U2,
that.
I
It's
think
just the
that is
outside,
going to
yeah.
is going to do
It's
the
just the
it's
outside.
going to do the opening concert there.
That's a cool thing.
It's a super cool thing. So not only is the outside LED and they can put whatever they want. When I was there, they made it look like the moon, and you're driving and you're in freak out mode. You think
Yeah, I
the
know.
moon is like settling in Las Vegas. Anyway, and then the inside apparently, and I've not been in it, but inside is also LED.
Oh,
no
so
way.
they can put ads up.
What
They
a
can put
show,
whatever they
too.
want. Yeah.
Well,
during
that
the show.
explains the $2 billion price tag.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's all it was. Only
I
$2
think
billion?
it was 2. I mean, all. That's like a B2
I know
bomber,
people that
man.
don't make that in a month. Well, $2 billion isn't what it used to be due to inflation.
I'm saying billion. With a
I know.
B.
I hear
Okay.
billion. Yeah.
Well, I didn't make that in a month. What is how much you making, man? All right, Carlos. So content management system. What is that?
Content management system is a software-based, internet-based software that allows you to control the programming and what goes to digital signage remotely.
Okay. And what's the benefit to the business owner?
Oh, the benefit is huge. So, for example, let's say I'm overseas and there's an issue and, hey, we need an update on one of our signs. Simply get on my computer, change it, send it to as many machines that it affects all at one time.
Okay, so it's remote access. You can engage with it and tell it what to do and change the images. Change.
Business owners can give it to their agency and tell the agency for the next 12 months, this is the programming I want to do, and then they take care of it. I'm sure you could probably even pre-program some of it, right?
Yes, you can pre-program it. You can set it up for different days of the week at different times. If you want this program to run on just Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and another program to run on Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday, that's all capable as well.
That's a Ronco model.
Do you
Set it
offer
and
that
forget
as a
it.
service to where you can monitor that for them, or is it pretty much all on the business owner to do that?
It depends on if it's a purchase or lease option. So if they
Okay.
purchase it, we do have online tutorials for if you do have your own marketing team or something like that. We give you a walkthrough of what to expect. We set you up with the software, and you pretty much handle it yourself from there.
Carlos already, his brain is working though. Next time he's on, he's going to like, oh yeah, we have a team that now can manage your ads for you from our
The
office.
wheels are spinning always.
Well, yeah, that's where.
And then Mark,
I
right?
got the
Mark's
virtual
already
assistant.
thinking,
Yeah.
you need a virtual assistant, sir.
Yeah, I mean, why not
Take care of it.
have them do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Unless you want to do it. I don't know how that works, but all right. So, what kind of media formats are supported for these boards?
A variety. So photos, videos, slideshows, audio. Of course, it has Wi-Fi, so feel free to bring up your social media content, YouTube, your website, online ordering. Everything that a phone has the capability of accessing.
That's actually a super cool idea because when you're at an event and a gala and you have your MC announce, hey, by the way, we have our photo booth over here, whatever, take a picture. And then if you hashtag it, it'll go on to our social media and then you'll see it on the screen.
In real time, yeah.
In real time.
100%.
That's
Good stuff.
smart.
Exactly.
Have you thought of that yet?
I have not.
Shit, hold on.
we have great
What's your
brains in
email
the
so I
room,
can send
right?
you a bill?
Yeah, right.
Cash App?
Howie will do that too. All right, Carlos. So, anything else we missed on that? Did you want to get out there?
That's pretty much it. Definitely recommend going to, if you want more information, go to led210.com. And there's some videos. It's a full rundown of what to expect and how you can reach us.
I love the website, by the way. LED.
Oh, I
210.
already wrote it down. I'm going to go right after this.
Cool. Well, there you go. It'll make a sale. All right, Carlos, thank you very much for coming in today. Enjoyed
you for
that
having
very much. All right, next up on the show is Hiram Skaggs, the Chief Sales Officer for Fun and Moving. Hiram, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to get it right out there right now.
Yeah.
What is Fun? Because it sounds like a moving company, if I'm going to be
Right.
honest. So I want you to tell me, pretend I've never heard of anything about what you're doing. What is it?
Absolutely. So we're an online physical therapy and rehab platform. So on-demand videos that you can do online from your phone, from your television. We have smart TV apps as well, or from your laptop. Wherever you are, like you can access this there. That's the idea. So plain and simple, one person for the entire year, or I'll back it up even. One person goes to a physical therapy appointment. It costs them minimum out of pocket of $120. It's like $95 to $250 is kind of the whole spread that it might be. But say it's $120. We can have that for the whole family for the year is the difference in
wow.
our price.
Okay.
So, when you look at when technology is doing its best, it's when it's solving a sticky problem and making it a really simple solution. You think online banking, you think online ordering, like with Amazon or with food delivery, that sort of thing. There's a incredibly broken system, not just in the U.S. but abroad. It's true in the U.K. It's true overseas. But having our system be something that people can actually access, and I don't mean ours, like I'm talking about the healthcare system abroad, like everything. It's not working for people right, and it's rife for some really good solutions to come out and solve that problem.
Yeah.
So ours is very silly name, right? The Fun and Moving. It's because we want to get people moving and get them engaged, but also so that we can kind of be not just accessible, but something that gives a little bit of brightness, a little bit of joy in somebody's life, and that they can feel not intimidated by. Because we're not a gym, we're not a program that's asking you to make a whole bunch of life changes. We're trying to come where you are in your house and give you the most bang for your buck humanly possible.
Okay, so I think what problem are you solving is kind of obvious. You're helping
Yeah.
people with overcoming maybe some kind of physical limitation
Absolutely.
or physical challenge.
Yeah.
Where's the fun aspect of it? How do you make
so
it
the fun aspect of it. So on the one side, we've got just a preposterous amount of content. We've got over 1,200 routines on there, and it's in every different area you can imagine that's might touch on physical therapy or might touch on like something closer to like exercise at a lower level. So, if you are really interested in line dancing, there's a line dancing, set of routines you could go look at. There's a bunch you can do in the dance area, yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, not just I have a knee replacement and I need to do rehab for that or prehab for that. We have that too. If you've got carpal tunnel, we got it. But beyond that, we have some engaging, fun things you can do. Learn a little bit about how to do Pilates or yoga. And we never get anybody on the floor, and we never ask anybody to buy equipment, which is kind of the other gotchas that people usually do. So there's not a balance and fall risk, and we're not asking you to go out and buy yet another thing to be an obstacle to you being able to do this.
Well, how are you making money then?
Yeah, so for us right now, we have big partnerships with cable companies. So we're going to be in 100 million homes by the end of the year, already in about 20 million. So it's a really massive growth we're experiencing right now. I'm really, really enjoying that, obviously, but that's the push that's going to get us in front of the most people and drive some revenue. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely revenue. But long-term, employee groups, hospital systems, that's where we're going to see a lot more. Those are the people that are experiencing the pain of rising healthcare costs.
Are they going to pay for that?
Yeah, they sure are.
So the hospital system will pay for it?
Absolutely. So one of the things that hospital systems are dealing with right now really massively are readmission rates. People get hurt, they go to the hospital, their ailment is addressed, and then they're set free to go back out in the community. They don't go to that next follow-up appointment. It's not the hospital's fault, right? And it's not really the individual's fault either. They've got stuff going on. They didn't get the email. It went into the wrong inbox. And they don't go to that next appointment. They don't get the care that they really needed because it wasn't really quite as accessible as it should have been either. And then when they get readmitted to the hospital for the same issue, insurance won't pay for that. And again, it makes sense.
That's why the hospital doesn't want that to happen, because insurance ain't paying for
100%. They are feeling and experiencing a massive pain, and that's why they're willing to pay for it. It's true for employers too.
The pain being the lack of cash.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Pain
Just
being
so we're
money.
on the same
It's
page
your
here.
wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong. We want to do huge, good humanitarian things here, right?
Yeah.
We recognize what gets people to move is money. Right? In a lot of ways. We're talking about large organizations. Like the crux of the matter is if we can save money, then we'd love to save lives.
Yep.
Sometimes if it's not something that actually saves money, we're like, well,
Yeah, the lives are expendable.
that it happens more often than it ever should.
Is that
that's
negative,
for sure.
Howie? I don't know.
No, but here's the thing. Look, we're as you're mentioning this, I'm thinking about my dad who's going to turn 90 this December, and movement is the key to his quality of
Boy, isn't it?
life.
Yeah,
And
central.
It's central. And even if you weren't 90 and let's say you're 60 and you need 5 to 7 more years before retirement, and you've had some things replaced and you can't move, it hinders your ability to go to work, and you may not be able to retire and that kind of stuff. So in that sense, people by the way, let's say you had a boring name like Marc Ebinger or Howie Nestel. How do you get a name like Hiram Skaggs? I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
so you almost have to inherit it. I'm
you
the
do?
9th, Hiram Skaggs in my family, 9th generation to have that name. So
love
it just
it.
keeps getting passed down and passed
So
down.
was it like Nikki Sixx where he went and named himself, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it wasn't one of those, it's not a stage name. I wouldn't have picked this if I was thinking about it in the beginning, right?
I said Boz Skaggs. What was the other one you said?
Ricky Skaggs.
Ricky
yeah.
Skaggs.
That's-
Skaggs,
actually, I'm not, Boz spells it different, but Ricky actually is a distant relation. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. So, one of the things you brought up is this deal with the cable companies,
Yeah.
and that is actually something for all entrepreneurs to think about, because there could be multiple revenue
That's right.
streams. And
What's
if
the
you
niche
don't-
you feel that they need content for? In my case, right?
Right.
We didn't imagine that when we first
And there's
started.
so many platforms now, cable companies,
Massively.
online. I mean, there's channels, subscription channels that people pay for, and they all need content. And what's going on right now? Writer strike, and they're not producing new content, and they need content. I have a friend who's did a documentary, and they were negotiating with just one, big online everybody's heard of. They used to mail you discs, you know.
And he's not saying Netflix.
and I said, hey man, why don't you guys go check with Red Bull and with other people, because they all look for content like this, for this kind of type of documentary, which is physical activity and all that stuff. And so sure enough, they got some interest from somebody who does an energy drink, you know, and they're like, oh,
not
this
Prime, is it? Because Prime's on, they're under the gun on social media now.
Yeah.
Prime is, oh
no, and my son we just bought Prime for school for the week.
John Paul, and then whoever the guy is, he does the podcast with.
You talking about Logan Paul?
Logan Paul.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, John
not
Paul
John Paul.
was the Pope.
The first or the second?
Logan Paul, the boxer, right?
Yeah.
He does
and he's got a brother as well, so I always forget which
Paul
it is. Right?
My kids used to follow him, Logan Paul and the other Paul, whatever.
Well, is Logan Paul the boxer?
Yeah.
The podcast guy, he's the
I think
boxer?
it's Jake Paul. That's
Jake
the
Paul.
boxer.
Are they brothers?
Yeah, they
Are they twins? Because they look the same.
No, they
similar.
just mentally they're twins. Right? But Jake Paul challenged Mike Tyson to a fight. And Mike Tyson's like 58 now. And then
that would be a good. I would pay to see that.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Have you seen Mike Tyson lately though?
He looks so slow.
I think he'll take this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You think so?
I think he'd destroy him.
The guy's I mean, I don't mean animal in a bad way. I mean, he's got that lion mentality. You know what I mean? That never goes away, I don't think.
No.
Right. Yeah. No, there's still some video of Mike Tyson in his mid to late 50s. Yeah, not hitting the bag, but doing some air boxing, and he still has that look of like, oh yeah,
he's gonna get it done.
And even if he doesn't hit you, he'll bite your ear off. Whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? He's gonna win, try and win anyway, no matter what. So yeah, with Prime, it's 200 milligrams of caffeine. If you get the one that has caffeine in it.
Oh,
Different
got you.
Prime. You're thinking
Right?
Amazon
Yeah.
Prime. I was too.
No,
drink
the drink Prime.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
we buy there's not the energy drink Prime. There's one that is the Gatorade style.
Yeah, it's in the screw cap top and all that.
Yeah, that one is supposed to be.
See,
less
here's
sugar.
the thing though. It has the red dye in it that it actually triggers me as far as like
minor
makes me
allergy,
a bit like hostile.
Oh,
yeah.
Makes me a little bit
irritable.
cranky,
Yeah.
irritable.
Yeah.
And there's something to that red dye.
Yeah.
So I actually
yeah.
had to stop drinking it because I like the fruit punch one. So I
Yeah, of
stopped
course.
drinking it. But yeah, there's 200 milligrams of caffeine in the can.
It's not like
one.
secretly steroids or something.
Look, we get back to Mother Nature, right?
Yeah.
Water, air, meditation,
Essentials.
breathing. You know, eat some whole foods. You're fine, but
Yeah, right.
Who wants to do that? That sounds boring.
So Hiram, so what's the goal for your company? Next 5 years, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we're looking to honestly change the entire culture of the U.S. when it comes to movement. I know, again, tall order, we get it. That's why we have some massive partners and why we're doing some big things right now. But the idea, again, if you're going to ask for a culture change, you need to ask for the smallest change humanly possible if you're going to, maybe build on that and continue. So one of the reasons that we're in households, that we're aiming at households even while we're turning around and selling to employers and hospital groups and, making some of these overseas connections that we are, the reason we're doing that is because we know the end user, somebody like your father, right? Somebody like even myself.
No, like me, because I was going to say, I'm big into movement. I've
Yeah.
hired these like ex-Israeli guys that are movement experts and whatever. And I brought in a guy for a retreat. He had a company called Way of Movement. And it was the biggest hit for the weekend. It was 120 guys at this retreat. Everybody's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I didn't realize. And we did these things and walking and on all fours. And
That's right.
It's like,
You just need a little
People in their
guidance,
60s or what?
I mean, based on their diet and all the red dye they consume, they're in their 40s, but they move like they're in their 60s.
How old are you, Carlos?
And it's,
Mark, it's rude to ask.
Come
him.
on, are you in your 40s or 30s?
I'm in my late 30s.
Are they okay? All right, cool.
yeah.
So anyway, but that movement thing, and by the way, it's also a great pull strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Because then if you create the demand at the
right.
consumer level, then the suppliers or the people who are going to be your clients will be like, hey, look, don't take my word for it. You have 100 million people here that want
And that was
the
one of the
content.
things that really showed us too. We were originally aiming at, and this was like 3 years ago when we first started. Pandemic was on. Everybody was kind of shutting down, wasn't sure what to do with their lives or where everything was going to go next. We were talking to insurance companies. We thought surely they would want to solve this problem. Prices keep going up and up and up. People can't afford this forever, getting 20, 30% renewals year over year. They've got to recognize this is a problem. The answer is yeah, they do, but they also are making a lot of money on it. There's not a ton of reason to change when you're making a ton of money. Even if you know it's unsustainable, it's hard to like, you've got two in the hand, so like why would you give it up for what might be a potential? So anyway, one of the things that we saw was a lot of the brokers and insurance companies said, go get some people. Go get some people interested, and that'll turn our interest around.
Yeah, focus group.
And we had some people that said
practice.
yes, but they couldn't do anything till 2024, 2025, 2026. These ships take, they're massive. They take a long time to turn. Tiny little rudder, giant ship. Sometimes you hit an iceberg, right? But like the idea is in the meantime, you'd starve as an entrepreneur going to wait for one of the massive insurance companies to, even if they've said yes, actually implement and start paying you.
Point.
So rather than sit on our hands and go, well, they said yes, like we just got to hang out until then, we went ahead and kept changing, adding. It's one of the reasons we have so much content. We kept meeting with, brokers and employers and hospital groups who go, man, I love what you're doing, but we need something for like lower back pain. We need something for not just rehab after a hip or a knee, surgery. We need prehab so people are doing better before they even get into the surgery. We need stuff for, fill in the blank. We kept making content, and it kept being more and more relevant, and it kept mattering. And now we've got, an opportunity to work on SBIR grants with the military. So the Department of Defense is, knocking on the door. And that obviously 3 years ago, that wasn't the case. Like that doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and relationships and building and being involved in the community.
Right.
There are people in Velocity, Texas and Geekdom that if we hadn't gotten to know people in that space, there's no way in the world we would have that kind of opportunity.
Yeah,
now.
and you never know who's going to see your content and
So
what spark or tipping point that's going to cause.
Yeah.
Case in point, I remember years ago, Bill Gates was doing an introduction for either Windows 2008,
Sure,
I don't
whichever
remember
one.
what it was.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that because it's integrated to the World Wide Web, he goes to watch videos, and he said there's this little obscure guy that puts up videos for his nieces, and I often watch them, and it's what ended up becoming that platform where now they use it in schools. My kids use it in school. It's called Khan Academy, Khan Academy.
Interesting.
And the guy's last name was Khan, and he was making these videos. Now they have thousands of videos.
Naturally.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funded them.
Sure.
They have 800, I think, employees,
Yeah.
and they're creating content all the time. And now school systems pay for it and use it in their schools, and it's free to students.
Absolutely.
And it reverses the model of learning. You get to ask questions of your teacher while you're in class.
I love it.
Oh, that's amazing.
And you do your learning, your video or instructional learning at home.
Love it.
Yeah.
Man.
All right,
And-
well, we are actually out of time, so we got to wrap up. But Hiram, if folks want to kind of learn more about what you're doing
Absolutely.
and get connected, how do they do that?
Yeah, so you can go to funandmoving.com, funandmoving.com. Sometimes we shorten it as FAM as well, so that's an easy way to find us. Looking at us on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram. We're out there everywhere. Also,
Excellent.
feel free to reach out to me personally. Like my contact information is on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn. So would be more than happy to respond to anybody that had a question, request, whatever. It's also very, very inexpensive to get started. Share it with a loved one, whatever the case might be. So we can always talk about doing that.
Love it. Thanks, Hiram. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, it's a wrap of the show. Quick reminder, check out our latest podcast or catch video version of the show anytime on our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for us for this one. You guys did a great job. Thank you very much. And we'll see you on the next one.
Awesome.
Awesome.